Hello, my name is Sarah Cohen Walker, S-A-R-A-H, Cohens, and then Walker, W-A-L-K-E-R. Dear distinguished members of the Lincoln City Council, but I wanted to tell you a bit about who I am. I came to Lincoln over 7 years ago when I started college at the university. Lincoln is where I met my wonderful wife. Lincoln is where I live. Lincoln is where I teach, and I serve my community, especially through my activities with LGBT plus advocacy, but most importantly, Lincoln is the place I plan to make my forever home. I am a queer young professional in the city who teaches at the University of Nebraska and who also occupies space in the Nebraska nonprofit world. I wish to share my enthusiastic support for the Youth Mental Health Protections Ordinance today, and I want to thank the Council for their ear. While I have not experienced conversion therapy from a licensed provider as outlined in the proposal, I have experienced fear-based conditioning and attempts to change my gender identity inside the church as I grew up. And I want to share how those experiences affected me when I was a minor and well into my early adulthood. I was told on countless and explicit occasions from adults in power, primarily adults of spiritual leadership positions, including my youth pastor, that to be gay or lesbian was unforgivable, and it was a sin that defied God's plan for me and my future husband. That message was very clear. Gay people were not deserving of Christ's love, and analogies between being gay and being a sexual deviant were scripts that painted my understanding of love, attraction, and my understanding of sexuality largely. After years of experiencing this counseling from adults I trusted, I really hated myself. Despite best efforts to change and conform, I felt constant self-blame, hopelessness, guilt, and social unbelonging, even when I was in Nebraska. And that is how I would categorize the majority of my high school and beginning college experiences. Even after years of this conditioning, I was still very much queer, but a lot more broken. To be clear, this ordinance does not attempt to prohibit any practices of faith-based organizations. And I also recognize that there are many faith practitioners even here today that you'll hear from that condemn conversion therapy or any attempts of this kind to change a person's gender identity in the context of religious organization. I just share a small piece of my story to underscore how conversion therapy failed me and to shine light on the negative repercussions which rippled throughout my childhood, teenage years, and into some of my adulthood. We cannot control the scripts, ideologies, messaging, or behaviors in places of worship like the one I grew up in, but we can control what therapies we allow in our public spaces, which therapies we will not accept under the larger umbrella of licensed, certified, registered providers that have immense power and influence over youth and largely our city's public health. Allowing providers as defined by the proposed ordinance to use conversion therapy or any attempt to change gender identity through intervention on young populations underscores a very scary and unscientific negligence that we have the power to condemn right here and today. Young people do not learn their sexualities, and therefore young people cannot relearn, reorient, repair, or avert these sacred and fundamental aspects of their identity. I ask members of this council to consider the important opportunity of protecting the vibrance and inclusivity of our great city and voting in support of Councilman Bauer's proposed Youth Mental Health Protections Ordinance. Lincoln is the capital of our state, and with that, the city has a high expectation to set an example by saying no to conversion therapy, no to unscientific methodologies, and no to medical interventions that are unproven and largely condemned through the various organizations that you've heard tonight. The closer we get to all of this, the closer we are to genuinely welcoming all people. I cast this vision for my city before this council, and I urge every member to support this important ordinance. I will share my fact sheet and my testimonies, and additionally, there were 3 mental health professionals that could not come because of the snow and cold, so I'm also going to share that for your reading later. Thank you very much for listening.
You bet. Thank you, Sarah.